The new villains of Boruto could solve the 7-year-long mystery of Konoha's destruction, and the hints to back this possibility make a lot of sense, from the reason explaining why they are 4 in number to the possibility of more such beings to awaken. Let's dive into the role of Shinjus alongside figuring out their mysterious origin. Consciousness is something which is present inside every single human being. It is what makes us self-aware and brings clarity to everything around us. However, if this awareness gets awakened by artificial beings like AI, it would definitely create troubles for the mankind. Now think of these new enemies as artificial beings who have gained consciousness as well as intelligence with the help of code. In other words, code was like a code to these computer programs known as Shinjus, which has enlightened them to a whole new degree. An interesting predator versus prey type of situation has arrived in the Narutoverse with the awakening of the 10 tails. Normally they were consumed by Otsutsukis as a part of their evolution, but now that they are self-aware, the celestial creatures have become the prey of this new race. Everyone is anticipated about their next move that we shall be discussing in a moment. But before going to the future, let's get back to the past and theorize the origins of the 10 tails. These new villains were summoned from the same platforms which projected the holograms of Otsutsukis. This could mean that their creation has some scientific angle involved, and there are plenty of hints that indicate the same. Firstly, when the Kama was visualized in the anime, it resembled digital data a lot. Considering the Kama is like a chip that stores the data of the host Otsutsuki, this visualization really made some sense. It also hints at the Otsutsuki technology possessing the most advanced science in the universe. Something similar can be found in the designs of these Otsutsuki panels. On closer inspection, they look like computer chips storing the Otsutsuki data. This means both the Otsutsukis and Shinjus are highly intelligent beings who scale way above the human race. Now here is something that I don't think anyone has talked about before. I mentioned earlier how the Shinjus were foreshadowed in the face of Gaara in an anime opening just because of the similarities that they all share. However, now when I think of it, these new characters are kinda similar to the 4 Otsutsukis that invaded the planet. Now you may ask why I think so. Check out this animation which shows the summoning of Bugs Shinju behind Boruto. He summoned from the exact same platform which projected the hologram of Kinshiki when Sasuke entered this dimension. Not only that, we have got a Shinju who looks a lot like Jigen, which means he somehow possesses the DNA of Ishiki in him. We even get to see a female Shinju who can be associated with Kaguya Otsutsuki. It would make her a pair of the Jigen looking Shinju, resonating with the original duo. Moreover, we have this Sasuke looking warrior who should possess the DNA of Momoshiki, following this analogy. Well, if these warriors are actually the manifestations of the Otsutsukis just because they were formed in a dimension which possessed their panels, then here is how I think the Shinju war is going to play out. Starting off with the Harley Quinn Shinju, who is said to be the 10 tails form of Moegi. Now that we know there is a Kaguya angle in her personality, I believe the plot is going to focus back on Sumire for some interesting reasons. In the anime, she was shown to possess the Gozu Tenno seal, which was created to replicate the secret techniques of Kaguya. This seal made Sumire enter a summoning contract with the yokai New, and it was mentioned in the Boruto character files in the manga, also known as Ninja Encyclopedia, that New is canon to the story. This means the Kaguya connection of Sumire is also relevant to the manga's continuity and could prove to be an important plot point. Now this is where the things get a lot more interesting. If you are caught up with my videos, you must be knowing that I believe the Harley Quinn Shinju is the 10 tails manifestation of Akebi rather than Moegi. We have seen Sumire poking her nose into the plans of Amado, so if the Shinju is actually made from the DNA of his daughter, then her face-off with Sumire would be really impactful to the plot. However, if things don't end up like that, then I think she is supposed to go against Team 10 just to provide some limelight to Inoshikacho. But I personally prefer the Amado Sumire theory more, only because the motive of the scientist to revive his daughter is really fishy. Think about it. Amado made Orochimaru look like a newbie, saying that he couldn't figure out a way to replicate a Rinnegan and manipulate someone into using the Edo Tensei to revive his daughter doesn't add up to me. The Kaguya angle of the female Shinju also enhanced her chances to encounter Himawari, only because her hidden strength is said to be the reformation of Kaguya's powers thanks to her overpowered genes. And guess whom she was training with during her last appearance? It was Team 10. So now that the female Shinju part made so much sense, let's move on to the Shinju who resembles Jigen. But before we move on, please hit the subscribe subscribe button and turn on the notifications to never miss an upload from my side. My next 2 videos will focus on the missing Otsutsuki's and a full-fledged prediction on the next chapter. I want all of you to witness my upcoming theories and breakdowns, and by hitting the sub button, you will never miss any upload. Coming back to the Shinjus, as I have clarified how they have an Otsutsuki as well as human counterpart, the most interesting of them all is the bald Shinju. He was apparently made from this guy in chapter 2. However, his resemblance and connection to Otsutsuki Ishiki could be vital to the development of a really important character. I believe he is about to face off Kawaki and might even persuade him in joining hands with them. I have talked about this in a previous video, but today I'm gonna expand a lot on this topic. So what I think is that the panel where Kawaki gets crushed by a claw grime only reflected how weak he really is. The sole reason for him to get the Kama back was to get more powerful. He needed power to protect Naruto and destroy the Otsutsuki clan. But what happens when a warrior like him gets to face a race way above his league? Well, he would most likely get smacked by the Shinjus, but just because we know how things are about to go down for him, there is still a lot of hope for his interesting development. Even though he is an Otsutsuki, the Shinjus will surprisingly spare his life, making him the destroyer of the shinobi system. I believe the connection of destiny and genetics in the story is about to pave a really big way for Kawaki. This Shinju doesn't look like Jigen by coincidence. He was apparently summoned from the platform which projected Ishiki's hologram, which means he has the genes of the Otsutsuki. So if genetics directly correspond to destiny in the story, we can assume that Kawaki and this Shinju are connected by fate. We have seen Kawaki getting provoked by Amado, which led to the reawakening of the Kama. However, in this scenario, what impacted him more than the scientist was the lack of power that he felt in every cell of his body. Now imagine someone way above his league confronting him and asking him to join hands with them. The dominance of power that the Ten Tails will have on Kawaki could make him a completely different character, or I should say the one that we see in the prologue scene. So why would the Shinju want him to form alliance with them? Well, I believe he is the key to their ultimate goal, a goal that has been there since ages but no one has talked about. It's the clash between the Ten Tails and Otsutsuki's, a predator versus prey type of scenario which has been there since the time of Shibai Otsutsuki. Now that we have reached the Otsutsuki god part, take a look at the attire of both the bald Shinju as well as Shibai Otsutsuki. They clearly seem to be torn, which only means one thing: both of them must have been in some serious fights before. Even Boruto's sleeve has been torn in the flash forward scene, which means he has battled some formidable enemies. But how is it possible for the outfit of this Shinju to be damaged if he was created from the Ten Tails on the spot? Now this brings us to a really mind-blowing theory. We know the power of omnipotence can make the impossible come true, and it's only attainable by an Otsutsuki who has consumed countless chakra fruits over a millennium. Shibai Otsutsuki must have this power cause he is the only known person to reach the divine stature. So what if the Ten Tails was actually a warrior race who needed to be killed by the Otsutsukis thousands of years ago? After Shibai Otsutsuki had defeated countless such beings and devoured their remains, he used the power of omnipotence to change all of them into dumb monsters who turned into trees once an Otsutsuki is fed to them. This must have stopped the wars between the Otsutsuki and Shinju clan. However, once the claw grimes of code came in contact of both Otsutsuki and human DNA, they gained their long lost intellect and consciousness back. This is why the clothes of the bald Ten Tails are damaged. He must have been fighting some Otsutsukis in the past, most likely the ones whose panels have been destroyed in the Ten Tails realm. However, once omnipotence got into effect, he was reduced to a Ten Tails seedling who couldn't do much to rebel against the Otsutsukis. Even Ishiki's character was rebellion driven, which makes me believe that the collaboration of the Shinju and Kawaki is not out of question. Now that we are down to the final 2 Shinjus, let's discuss whom they are about to make their target. Talking about Bug, he will definitely get dominated by his human side and would go after Code only to finish him off. Metaphorically speaking, a bug creates problem in a computer program, so I think the death of the White Kama user is written by the hands of his only comrade. Interestingly, it will be his final betrayal, as there is no way he would survive a death battle with the monster. So assuming the role of this fat guy was to deal with Code, we are only left with Jubisuke now, whose role could be the most impactful of them all. But before going there, I would like to talk about one thing which I believe could take the story of Boruto in a completely different direction. Now that these Ten Tails have gained awareness, what if their motives would be to chase peace instead of chaos? Maybe they would adapt the personality of their host humans and would desire to be like this species rather than seeking revenge on the Otsutsukis. Here is an interesting example example to make you guys understand how this would work. Let's say apart from consciousness, Jubisuke's personality also resembles Sasuke, and he ends up on the good side, acting as a mentor to Boruto and a father figure to Sarada. When the time to get the real Sasuke back shall arrive, Boruto and Sarada will have to make a hard choice by giving up on his Ten-Tails avatar. This would give the Shinju plot a more emotional angle and could help in the character development of Boruto and Sarada, as they shall be witnessing the real death of a close one. But keeping this theory aside, there's a good amount of chance for Boruto and Jubisuke to clash in the future. It would be a student-teacher type of thing, focusing on the character development of Boruto in numerous ways. One thing that I think could make their battle even more impactful would be the possibility of Sasuke's death. Imagine Boruto fighting an enemy who could destroy the whole shinobi world, but he can't kill him just because the life of his mentor is at stake. The Ten-Tails avatar of Sasuke could even lead to Sarada awakening her brand new Mangekyou ability. I always wondered why Kishimoto didn't let Sasuke have a hand in Sarada's Mangekyou training or awakening in general. Maybe all of it was done to set up Jubisuke, who will be the reason of Sarada to show her true powers. There is even a possibility for more Shinjus to make their entry in the next chapter, as the Claw Grinds must have devoured many more people. It would be like a zombie apocalypse in Konoha, and Boruto will need to reveal all his powers to deal with it. Talking about powers, have you guys wondered why Boruto isn't using the Kama Seal in Two Blue Vortex? Well, you can find your answers in this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stuff. I will see you next time.